Greetings and welcome back to room 303, AP English. We are in the Roberts lectures. We are working with poetry, and now we turn to Wallace Stevens' Disillusionment of 10 o'clock, his 1923 offering. I'm on page 699 of Roberts. Now, this poem published in 1923, but actually first published in 1915. Now, Stevens dates 1879 to 1955, the great American modernist poet. Spent most of his life in insurance companies, and you know, there's always been a lot of talk about that. I have always argued that one of the things that makes Stevens' work so remarkable is that he did spend time around a lot of quote-unquote normal people, you know what I mean? And for that, then, his poetry has a powerful resonance. He did win the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1955, of course, on LearnStrong. Stevens, one of our favorites at learnstrong.net of modern poetry, is one of the poems that we've treated of Stevens, as well as later in Roberts. We're going to mess around with the Emperor of Ice Cream on page 1205. Let's just now turn to the poem Disillusionment of 10 o'clock. The houses are haunted by white nightgowns. None are green or purple with green rings, or green with yellow rings, or yellow with blue rings. None of them are strange with socks of lace and beaded centaurs. People are not going to dream of baboons and periwinkles. Only here and there an old sailor, drunk and asleep in his boots, catches tigers in red weather. Now, in many ways, this is a poem about the power of the imagination, or the loss of creativity, however you wish to see it. Notice that we begin with the houses being haunted by white nightgowns, as opposed to beautiful, decorative kinds of colored nightgowns. Of course, the poem being written in a time when people wore nightgowns more than maybe they do today, but you get the idea. None of them are strange is the key line of the poem. In other words, living this normal, mundane existence. And because they live this normal, mundane existence during the day, they don't get to dream the great dreams, the dreams of baboons and periwinkles, or what sailors will drink catching tigers in red weather. In other words, the life in now 2a, the life of the imagination, is a much greater life than the boring life of existence. You'll remember it was Einstein who said that imagination is more important than knowledge, and of course we're going to see some of that represented here as well. Of course, at 2b, notice the repetition of the word none. Note the brilliant comparisons here. And obviously this poem can be read in terms of word picture. We don't have to be talking about quite literally what one wears before one goes to sleep. We can talk about one's state of mind. We mentioned in earlier lectures on Henry David Thoreau that he said the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. This poem tries to capture that disillusionment. Now notice the 10 o'clock is obviously in the evening time before one goes to bed, because of course that's before one dreams. And obviously dreaming is a powerful symbol in this poem at 2b as well. At 3a, what are we going to relate this poem to? Well, I think a couple. T.S. Eliot comes to mind for his discussion in Hollow Men of the same thing. We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw, alas our dried voices when we whisper together are quiet and meaningless. We've given a full lecture on that one. How about Four Quartets, East Coker? Old men ought to be explorers. And obviously here, notice the old sailor who is catching tigers in red weather and all of that. We can think obviously of the great epic tradition, the heroes of that epic tradition. Homer, Virgil, Dante come to mind. If we're thinking about dreaming and dreamers, we have to think about our Freud and our Jung. We've given lectures on both of them in our World of Ideas lectures. Finally, at 3b, to relate to this in some way, what was a time when your imagination helped you find answers that your head maybe could not quite figure out? Or how about this one? We've asked it before, but we can ask it again to relate to this poem. What is your favorite dream that you had, as in a dream while you were sleeping? What is your favorite dream and why? Okay. And do you think it's true that if you live an energetic, exciting life, a life of creative enthusiasm, you'll have better dreams. It's an interesting idea. Maybe you can put it to some use. Wallace Stevens, again, challenging us to see the world from multiple perspectives. Creative perspectives, right? Thank you.